So, you're thinking about Berlin, land of techno beats, beer gardens, and painfully cool people who somehow survive on sourdough and sarcasm. But what does it actually cost to live here in 2025? From rent to bratwurst, U-Bahn to internet, we're breaking down every euro so you know exactly what you're signing up for or running away from. Why Berlin? Because Berlin doesn't care who you are, and that's exactly the charm. It's a city of artists, entrepreneurs, freelancers, and digital nomads who live like rebels, with receipts. It's chaotic, creative, gritty, and somehow still affordable, especially compared to London, Paris, or anywhere remotely close to Zurich. Want history? You've got 800 years of it and some of the best museums in Europe. Want nightlife? Berlin doesn't sleep, it raves. Want freedom? You can show up in a suit or pajamas and nobody bats an eye. And here's the deal. Berlin is one of the last big capitals in Western Europe where you can still live a full, interesting life without selling a kidney. But of course, nothing's perfect. So let's break down what it actually costs to survive or thrive here. Renting in Berlin is a bit of a sport. Apartments go fast, and you're often competing with a small army of people. The average one-bedroom in a decent area runs about 1,000 euros a month. Want something cheaper? Flat sharing is still the norm here, even if you're not a student, and you can find a nice room for around 500 to 700 euros. Neighborhoods matter. Neukölln's artsy and international. Kreuzberg's wild and iconic. Prenzlauer Berg is calm, family-friendly, and a little bougie. Friedrichshain is loud and fun. Charlottenburg's got that old-school West Berlin charm. Wherever you land, each district has its own vibe. Most people find places through sites like WG Gesucht or Immowelt. But be fast. If you see something decent, message immediately. And yes, you'll usually need a deposit. Expect to pay 2 to 3 months rent up front. It's painful at first, but standard in Germany. Finding a place takes hustle and patience. But once you're in, Berlin life gets way smoother. Berlin's food scene? Diverse, delicious, and surprisingly budget-friendly, if you play it right. You can grab a solid lunch at a local spot for around 7 or 8 euros. Currywurst, doner kebab, Vietnamese pho, vegan bowls. Berlin feeds every craving, and usually without breaking the bank. Dinner at a mid-range restaurant? You're looking at 10 to 20 euros per person, depending on how fancy you're feeling. And the city's full of cool little places tucked into courtyards, or hipster streets that feel way more expensive than they are. Now, if you're cooking at home, and many do, you'll spend around 200 euros a month on groceries. Lidl and Aldi are your budget-friendly besties. Rio and Edeka are a bit pricier. And Bio Company? Great if you love organic and have deep pockets. Bottom line, Berlin can feed you well, whether you're balling on a budget or splurging on schnitzel. Getting around Berlin is smooth, cheap, and honestly kind of fun. The public transport system is a well-oiled machine. Metros, trams, buses, and trains all crisscross the city like it's been choreographed. A monthly BVG pass will cost you about 49 euros and covers pretty much everything inside the city zones. The U-Bahn and S-Bahn are fast and reliable. And the trams? They're a whole vibe, especially at night when the city lights blur past your window. Buses fill in the gaps, and late-night routes mean you're never really stranded, even at 2 a.m. after one too many club nights. Berlin's also super bike-friendly. Flat roads, dedicated bike lanes, and tons of rental options make cycling an easy choice. Just pack a jacket, because the wind will test your commitment. Services like Lime or Nextbike cost around 25 euros a month. Fast, fun, and no traffic jams. If you're thinking of driving, don't. Parking is a pain, traffic can be rough, and honestly, you just don't need a car here. Stick to the U-Bahn. It's cheaper, faster, and way less stressful. Let's talk about one of the first things that'll confuse the hell out of you when renting in Berlin. Kaltmiete versus Warmmiete. Sounds fancy, but here's the deal. Kaltmiete is the cold rent. Just the base price for the apartment, no heating, no utilities, just the space. Warmmiete, on the other hand, is the warm rent. It usually includes heating, water, trash collection, internet, and building maintenance. Now, when listings say 1,000 euros rent, always double check if that's cold or warm. The difference can be a few hundred euros, and it adds up fast. If you're going with Kaltmiete, expect to pay around 30 to 50 euros a month for electricity, depending on how much time you spend at home and how many gadgets you've got humming. Internet's another 30 euros or so for decent high-speed Wi-Fi, but getting it set up can mean contracts, paperwork, and a healthy dose of German bureaucracy. All in, if you're on a cold rent setup, utilities and internet will run you about 100 euros a month. Totally doable, unless you treat your flat like a sauna or leave everything running 24/7. Berlin feels free. Art everywhere, open-air raves, and parks filled with people who look like they just stepped out of an indie film. But let's be real. Fun has a price tag. A night out, drinks at a cool bar will set you back 4 to 10 euros a pop. Add dinner and maybe a club entry, and you're easily at 50 to 70 euros, even without going full techno-hedonist. Cinema tickets? Around 12 euros. A monthly gym membership? Anywhere from 25 euros at a no-frills chain to 60 euros plus for something with more perks. Museums and galleries often have discounted or free days, and Berlin's obsession with flea markets means weekends can be entertaining and cheap. If you resist buying vintage sunglasses you don't need. Bottom line, you can spend a little or a lot. Berlin gives you both options. Just don't fall into the 5 euro flat white trap every single day. It adds up faster than you'd think. Alright, let's talk visas, because just winging it isn't a long-term strategy. If you're from the EU, lucky you. No visa, no problem, just roll in and enjoy the currywurst. Everyone else? You've got some paperwork coming your way. Tourists from countries like the US, UK, Canada, and Australia get 90 days visa-free. But don't get too cozy. Working during that time? Big no-no. Want to stay longer and earn a few euros? Germany's got a freelance visa that's basically made for creatives, developers, yoga instructors, and people with 5 side hustles. Just prove you've got clients, preferably in Germany, health insurance, and enough money to not live off Club Med alone. There's also a job seeker visa if you're hunting for work. It gives you 6 months to charm a company into hiring you. Student visas are an option too, but you'll need an acceptance letter, health insurance, and a bank account with about 11,000 euros chilling inside. No stress, right? Just remember, German bureaucracy moves at glacial speed, so book your appointment at the Ausländerbehörde early. So, what's the damage? Living in Berlin won't bankrupt you, but don't expect it to be some magical European cheapo haven either. If you're flying under the radar, no luxury lofts, no wild techno weekends, okay, maybe one. Here's your ballpark. Rent? That 1 bedroom in a decent neighborhood like Neukölln, Wedding, or Friedrichshain is about 1,000 euros. Groceries? If you cook at home and avoid falling for every organic oat milk trend, you'll spend around 250 euros a month. Transport? With a BVG monthly ticket, you're looking at about 50 euros to ride the U-Bahn, trams, and buses like a local. Add another 100 euros for utilities and Wi-Fi, assuming you don't heat your place like a tropical spa, and throw in around 250 euros for fun stuff. Eating out, occasional drinks, cinema nights, or a museum or two. We're being optimistic. Oh, and don't forget random stuff like your phone bill, laundry, or that one Amazon impulse buy at 2 a.m. Budget at least 50 euros. Total? You're looking at roughly 1,700 euros a month to live a balanced, comfortable, not too flashy life in Berlin. You won't feel poor, but you're not exactly rolling in schnitzels either. Alright, so you've landed in Berlin, feeling pretty international and ready to vibe. But then, Berlin hits back, with surprises. First shocker? Cash is king. Yep, in one of Europe's trendiest cities, a lot of places still look at your fancy credit card like it's from outer space. Always carry some euros, not Monopoly money, because that hip cafe with oat lattes probably doesn't take cards. Next up, customer service. Or should we say, the lack of it. Don't expect big smiles or "how can I help you today" vibes. Berliners are straight to the point. Not rude, just honest. Okay, sometimes a little rude. Also, graffiti is everywhere, like museum-quality murals next to full-on scribbles. At first it feels like the whole city's been tagged by teenagers, but give it a minute. It's part of Berlin's rough charm. Gritty, but cool. And let's not forget the Sunday silence. The city shuts down. No groceries, no shopping, no nothing. It's peaceful, sure, until you realize you forgot to buy coffee the night before. Finally, the weather. Gray skies, drizzle, and long winters can mess with your mood. But hey, it just makes those rare sunny days feel like a public holiday. So, is Berlin your vibe? If you're after freedom, creativity, and a life that doesn't revolve around 9 to 5 and status symbols, Berlin might just be your soul city. But if you need sun, structure, and speed, you might find yourself screaming into the gray sky by February. Either way, Berlin doesn't fake it. It's bold, messy, honest, and full of surprises. You won't forget it, whether you stay for a year or a lifetime. Smash that like button, drop your Berlin questions or experiences in the comments, and subscribe for more real talk on cities around the world.